Music has been around since the beginnings of human culture. You've probably heard some before. From banging two sticks together to scratching a record, we've used whatever was around to create original sounds. And just as musical culture around the world has evolved, so too have our instruments. And new ones are being created all the time. Some completely original, others Frankenstein from salvaged parts to produce sounds as varied as their origins.
My name is Iner Souster. I am a sculptor, artist, musician, lover of junk.
So on our way there, we're driving up this suburban cul-de-sac. Every house kind of looks the same. And Iner's garage opens, and there's this shrine of the coolest, strangest instruments I've ever seen. It was pretty cool.
I started building instruments way before I could play them. I still can't play them, but I keep building them and, again, fake my way through it.
How many Junkstruments have you made?
Probably in the past decade, anywhere between 500 and 600 of them. I get obsessed with things. I think the most successful one I made was the banjo-ukulele. A band called the Kensington Hillbillies were playing a show and the head broke off of the banjo neck. And it showed up at the gallery. And I had a bunch of broken ukulele parts and I was like, hey, will these two fit together? And they fit together perfectly. Seriously, it took me like an hour to put together. And it works.
We live in a disposable age, and I'm fascinated by artists like Iner who manage to repurpose everyday junk and turn it into cool, usable creations. And how do you know what you're gonna create when sifting through the garbage? So when you see a piece of junk, can you hear the sound first, or do you see the instrument first?
That's a good question. I think I see the instrument first and have an idea of how it's gonna sound, and that rarely works out that way. The pieces of junk I find dictate what I make. There could be a day that I'm thinking I'm gonna make a bunch of stringed instruments and it comes out completely different. There's a lot of pieces that I'll look at and I'm like, okay, I know exactly where that's gonna go. And there's also a lot of pieces I find that I think I know where it's gonna go and it ends up in a completely different direction.
Hearing Iner talk about his work, I realized there's actually a lot of similarities between digging in the crates to find a record for a sample and digging in the garbage for a hubcap to make a drum.
Yeah, so I'm finding a way slowly of mixing all these things that teachers all my life have been saying, you can't mix these things. I have to focus on one thing. And I'm like, I don't want to focus, I want to focus on everything. So I found a way that I can sort of mix them all in together and everything has a life of its own and it evolves and changes and just working with that and going with that.
It's a continuous cycle of art.
It's a continuous cycle of junk.
Iner is a one-of-a-kind junk genius. He's marching to the beat of his own junk drum and having a lot of fun doing it.
Well, the next couple of years I just want to keep building stuff, building robots, building Junkstruments, building furniture, building whatever the piece that I find, whatever direction that takes me in. And I want to be stagnant in my shop, I don't want to be stagnant in my life. I just love working with junk and building things out of junk.
What do you want people to get out of your art?
I just want people to have something they like. I don't have any heavy meanings behind what I do. I do things for the love of doing it. Just have something in your house that makes you smile when you get home.
You can't help but smile while playing these Junkstruments. It's refreshing that Iner doesn't take himself or his work too seriously.
As long as I'm making stuff, you know there's always going to be junk out there.